So at Deer Park, you also offer the Wake Up Retreat to young practitioners. Can you explain us and introduce the Wake Up Retreat to us?
So in 2008, Thai felt very inspired to start a movement for young people. Of course, I already spoke about this School of Youth for Social Service. I started in Vietnam, and that's I've been working a bit on Thai's biography, and that's a big area of study. We're trying to understand. Thai came to the West under a scholarship to spend a year at Princeton University in 1962, and then 1963 at Columbia at Union Theological Seminary, and did his thesis on Vijnanabhata, on Yogacara, consciousness-only studies, and then he came back to Vietnam. But a lot of what I feel Thai learned when he was in the U.S. was the nature of kind of social movements, because that was just the beginning of the 60s, and Thai came back. He was called back. He sent a ticket because of the repression of Buddhism in Vietnam at that time by the Catholic regime of Diem, was supported by the Americans. And so they didn't allow the Buddhists to celebrate Vesak. And so even Thai's master marched in the streets of Hue in central Vietnam in protest of that moment. And we all know the image of Thich Quang Duc immolating himself in the streets of Saigon. And that was a monk very close to Thai. I mean, Thai knew him, and so at that time Thai had to come back to Vietnam, and he saw that I think that galvanized a movement of young people, young Buddhists.
Right.
And Thai saw that energy, and Thai worked with this Venerable Tri Quang, who also recently passed away, and he was really the leader of that movement of young people in Vietnam. But Thai also saw the difficulties that he had, because although the Buddhists would go out and protest, but sometimes it was not so peaceful, and there were confrontations, and so Thai had the insight, and also a lot working with Sister Shan Kong, who was not a nun at that time, and she was a young student at the university who loved to learn from Thai. So she was just going out into the street and giving rice to poor people. She came from a wealthy family in the Mekong River Delta, and from a very young age, she wanted to help poor people. And so Thai was inspired actually by her and other young people who wanted to just go out and help people. They weren't trying to create new political institutions. They were just literally going out and giving people rice, when they needed it. And so he along with her and many other students, created this School of Youth for Social Service. And what they did was they wanted to bring modern sanitation, healthcare, education to the villages which were underserved because of the conflict, which had starting to escalate. More and more American troops were coming to Vietnam. So this School of Youth for Social Service bloomed, and they started getting thousands of young people signing up to go to villages with no money, just to teach kids, give them a cup of soy milk every day to drink, and help them to build latrines, and so there's some kind of sanitation to avoid infection, and to have simple medical facilities and so forth. And so that was kind of the focus of that movement. So Wake Up was really based in that movement in Vietnam. And so Thai said, we need a movement in the West of young, so Thai called it Young Buddhists for a Healthy and Compassionate Society.
Oh.
Actually, Wake Up the young people suggested that name because they thought Young Buddhists for a Healthy and Compassionate Society was too long.
Yeah, it is not. That's what I thought too.
So they shortened it to Wake Up, and so that phrase got on.
Right.
And so in Village, France, and I was actually here at Deer Park. We had our first Wake Up retreat in 2009.
Nice.
And as well in Plum Village, I think the first groups in 2008 and then 2009, and then I ended up coming back to Plum Village and meeting with a lot of the young monastics like Sister Truda Vacation and Brother Spirit, Brother Phop Lin, and many others who are helping to kind of be the vanguard of that movement for young people. And so we started doing Wake Up tours around England and the UK and the US, and then going to university campuses mainly, because most of us were university educated, so we we kind of know the system. We know how
Yeah.
to get in there, and we know the right people to
I
ask
see.
and
Yeah.
how to get. We did it very simply with little. We had no money, no budget. We just had like a car, and we just drove there,
wow.
and we would ask students if we had just one student at a university, we knew that they could reserve a room that we could use for the event. And so most students in Western universities, they can reserve a room. And so that's the way we did it. We just had, if we got a student at a university, and then they would invite their friends to come to the event. And so that's how Wake Up started. We just kept doing these tours and going around and sharing the practice with young people. And and then we started doing bigger and bigger retreats. So we changed the one in Plum Village. We created an organic farm there. So we had a happy farm. We call it the Happy Farm.
Happy farm.
So people, we worked with lay friends to build this farm, and we bring the kids there to meditate on the vegetables, like pull potatoes out of the ground, and wow, potatoes come from the ground. So what we did is we merged the organic farm with the Wake Up retreat, and we created this Wake Up Earth retreat, which continues until now. And we really speak about how we can take care of the earth and Mother Nature, and how we are the earth. Our very body is not separate from Mother Earth.
We are the earth.
And that becomes like a big festival retreat every year in Plum Village. We have 500 young people.
That's a lot.
Europe, America, and so this is young people bring young people. So
yes.
I think what I learned in starting a movement with my brothers and sisters was that if we just get one young person who gets a deep transformation in one of our retreats, then at the end of the retreat we sit with them and we say, well, can we come to your campus or do Wake Up event? Like, yes, I'll do it. And then they invite their friends, so we don't have to do it advertising. You see, they're inspired.
Right.
And the same is true with Wake Up schools for education. We have a movement to bring, like, we're planning to start a school here at Deer Park.
Oh.
We call it a Thich Nhat Hanh School of Interbeing.
Oh, that's a great name.
To really teach Plum Village practices from a very young age, from preschool already.
Yeah.
Right.
And the inspiration, we built this movement for mindfulness and education all through doing educators retreats. Teachers come and they get transformation in the retreats, and then they go back, and we don't have to do very much because we just give them, we have a book, Happy Teachers Change the World, with exercise.
Yeah.
We just give them the material, and then they transform their school with the practice of mindfulness. So really it's about the young people getting transformation in their own life, in their own spiritual life. And then, Venerable, I mean, when you touch the Dhamma, you don't have to do, when somebody touches the Dhamma, you don't have to do very much. You just stand back and let them
let them do it. Yes. That's right. Very good. Wonderful. And I heard that in March, Deer Park Monastery organized an international online retreat called At Home in the World. So this is online retreat from all around the world, right?
Yeah, well, largely from North America.
Oh.
We did have, I think we had about 25 countries represented. A lot of them were from Latin American countries. I speak Spanish as well, so I do speak the Dhamma in Spanish. And so we had a lot of, it was mostly American continent. We had a few from Asia, from Vietnam, and a few from Europe. But we didn't, because our sister monastery, Plum Village, they take care of Europe very well. So we mainly focused on America and Asia.
I see. So what did you do in the online retreat? Could you please explain it?
So this online retreat, so in 2010, Thais founded this Plum Village online temple or online monastery.
So we started
online temple. That's new.
So what happened, I don't want to get in too much in the weeds here, but if you know a bit the history of our tradition. So when Thai went back to Vietnam in 2005, many people wanted to offer Thai a temple or a monastery so there could be a Plum Village center in Vietnam. it's complicated for political reasons for the Plum Village tradition to practice openly in Vietnam. You know, I won't go into the details of why that is, but you can find out for yourself why that is. So one temple was offered in the Bao Lac, Central Highlands of Vietnam.
Right.
And within a couple of years, there were 400 young monastics there. So it just blew up overnight into a huge monastery where many, many young people from Vietnam were practicing Plum Village teachings. And it's a long story, but basically that some people were not so happy about that. And then eventually, in 2009, the monks and nuns were forced to leave that monastery, and they went to one of our sisters is from Thailand, and the Thai government was very gracious, and Machula Longkorn Rajavidyalaya University was very kind to help us with visas to continue to stay in Thailand. So we established now the Thai Plum Village, which is our main center in Asia. And so that you know, when that happened, Thai knew that many people in Vietnam were very sad because they could not directly go to the monastery to practice anymore, the Plum Village teaching. So Thai decided to go online. So he said, hey, we can create a monastery just by opening our laptop. And so he told a lot of us, myself included, I was very involved with that, to learn what we can do to transfer the practices, transmit them to people online. And so we started to stream Dhamma talks online directly from Plum Village, and then we redid the website so it's more practice oriented rather than just before they were just information about how to come on retreats, but then we try to refigure the website so that you can actually practice just with the website, and you have video, and then with the pandemic we learned how to use Zoom. So the next part was 10 years we did like that, and then the pandemic hit.
It's very
But luckily, because we've been pairing for 10 years of how to do streaming and how to do certain things online, we were prepared to really go online completely and start doing online retreats. So I was in Plum Village at that time, and we did a number of online retreats, a Buddhist theology retreat, and then even a family retreat where we had kids programs online.
Very pioneering.
Yes, as usual, very pioneering Thai.
But it came from Thai originally. It's Thai wanted us to go in this direction because we couldn't. Again, I think it started because we could no longer have a practice center in Vietnam, but it expanded out to become a kind of global thing. And so the retreat that we did in Deer Park this spring was just a continuation of that. I mean, now I've been asked to come to Deer Park, so I had some experience doing online retreats. So and some of the other, like Sister Boyni, Sister True Pearl from Magnolia, also has a lot of experience doing that. So we work together with other monastics to do that retreat online. And I think here we're trying to focus on English speaking, Vietnamese speaking, Spanish speaking, and also more and more Chinese. We have a lot of mainland Chinese studying here in American universities, and they're coming up to the monastery. I mean, it's more and more.
It's amazing.
So trying to because in mainland China, I think a lot of people lost the contact with the ancient Buddhist tradition and their own culture, right? And so somehow I think Thai's teaching is helping them to reconnect with an authentic kind of, heartfelt practice of Buddhism.
God,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we do a Dhamma sharing. So in our retreats, all the activities we normally do, like sitting meditation, walking meditation. Walking meditation, we just introduce it and we have them go do it by themselves in their own house, right? And then we have Dhamma talks online and things. And we call Dhamma sharing, which is like circle groups. So we have a group of maybe 20 people, and we we learn to practice loving speech and deep listening, really listening, deeply respecting confidentiality, respecting, allowing people to speak about their experience of suffering, so that it has a, they can benefit from the compassion of the group.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we do that all online. Yeah.
Oh, great.
So the advancement of technology is really helping us.
Yes, yes.
It is, and we do get a lot of people who are physically challenged and older in age on those online retreats. Now, I mean, during the pandemic, we had a more wide demographic, but I'll say now there's a few different groups. So one is just people who are physically challenged, so it's difficult for them to come to the monastery in person. Another is they're just older, and it's just hard to travel. And then the third is, for example, those in Latin American countries, it's complicated to come to the U.S.
Yes,
so
right.
it's very economical for them. Some of them are, it's not easy to buy even a plane ticket. Expensive. So an online retreat, and we always have a kind of sliding scale, and so we have recommended prices for people to do the retreat because we have costs we need to meet, but we've had people pay like $10 to do the online retreat. Oh. I mean, we say like we try to meet people where they're at, not because we know that we have. It's nice that people pay a little bit because otherwise they don't show up. Like we've seen if people sign up, but then for free, and then they don't show up. For the activity.
That happens. That happens.
You have to come on, it's like $10 or $5. It's something that you really committed to do this.
Yeah.
But we've literally had people pay like $10 or I think even $5 to do a whole 5-day online retreat.
Yeah, wonderful.
Right.
Then?
So here at BTN, we are a 24-hour propagational digital broadcast. So I think that really helps with a lot of people that are physically unable to actually go to the monasteries to, receive the teachings from all different kinds of teachers. So also here at BTN's Go Inside Global, we love to learn and experience mindfulness in our daily lives as well. Can you share and do maybe a 3 to 5 minute short guided meditation with us today?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
We can sit in a comfortable position, and if you're in a chair, you might like to sit so that your back is not on the back of the chair. So it's good to use those muscles in our back to sit upright and relax your shoulders. You might like to imagine that you have a thread that's coming out through the crown of your head right here, and that somebody's gently pulling up on that thread. So your whole body is just hanging off of that thread, and there's no rigidity, just relax. And if you're in a chair, you can put your feet flat on the floor and bring all your attention to your breathing. Sensation of the in-breath, the sensation of the out-breath. Just experiencing the breathing. If there's any thinking that comes up, just guide your attention back to this sensation of the breath coming in through your nostrils, filling your lungs, your belly rising, then the air being expelled from your lungs, coming up and out through your nose. Your belly is just like waves on the surface of the ocean, rising and falling. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Your hands just lightly in your lap. Follow the in-breath. So you notice it as it comes in, nostrils of your nose, as it goes down through your trachea into your lungs. So you follow the breath. And then also as you expel the air, follow it. Up through your trachea, out again through your mouth. Live totally in the breath. Don't allow any distraction. And you can become aware of your body just as it is. There might be some pain in your body. There's also parts of your body where there's no pain. Healthy parts of your body. You see the whole of your body. Breathing in, I'm aware of my body. Breathing out, I smile to my body. You accept your body. Don't want to make your body something else, look some way else. See the body with the breath coming in and out. Breathing in, I relax my body. Let go of any tension, any stress in our body. Shine the light of mindfulness on any kind of tension. Just notice how it changes when you bring mindfulness to that tension. Breathing in, relaxing my body. Breathing out, releasing any tension. Breathing in, I feel joy to be alive. Such a wonder. This magical, miraculous life. Breathing out, I smile to life within me and around me. In joy to be alive. Out, smiling to life. Breathing in, I dwell happily in the present moment. I have nowhere to go and nothing to do. Breathing out, I see that this is a wonderful moment. Happy in the present moment. Present moment, wonderful moment. open your eyes. Thank you for practicing short guided meditation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was lovely.
That was so lovely.
Thank you.
I didn't
Yeah.
ring my bell today, but probably know we have the bell
Right.
meditation.
Yeah. But without bell sound, it was
Even
perfect.
without it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So when practicing mindfulness in daily activities, we often memorize some gathas. So you actually use some gathas when you guided some meditation today. Could you provide an example of what and which gatha to recite in a particular moment?
Yeah, so this is a practice from the Zen tradition in China. The many short 4-line, poems in classical Chinese that novices would memorize when they come to the monastery, and they help you with certain situations, like how to take care of your bowl, how to take care of your sleeping space, how to take care of attending your teacher, and these kind of things. And so but Thai updated them and created new ones back in the 90s
I
because
see.
when he started the monastic order in Plum Village, then he suddenly found himself for the first time training all these young monks and nuns. So he looked into the tradition for some, because he trained under very different conditions under the French colonial times in the root temple, his root temple in Hue in the central of Vietnam. Is a very, very different time than being in France in the 90s. And so these gathas, these are short poems. Gatha means poem, or gatha means verse in Sanskrit.
Okay.
So it's kind of poem. And so he adapted some of the old ones and then translated them into Vietnamese, and then some of the young Western monastics translated them into English, and then started just adding them. So for years, Thai was adding them, and also some of the monastics actually came up with some of them, and then Thai gave some input, and then they comes in. So I think we have about almost 100 of them now, and they're really to meet everyday life, not only taking care of our bowl or waking up in the morning, in the monastery, but also, for example, driving a car.
What is
or
it?
turning on the computer. We have a gatha for turning on the computer.
So please let us know.
Yeah, well, I can send a list of them, but
Very good.
Yeah, so one of them that I practice. I practice a number of them every day, and one that I love very much is the waking up poem. So it's waking up this morning, I smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live each moment in mindfulness and to look at all beings with eyes of compassion.
Beautiful.
Because there's that moment when you wake up in the morning and I don't know if you have that experience of this first few seconds. Sometimes when we wake up, we can think about the worst things.
Right.
Like the most difficult relationships, the most difficult problems, like in our family or whatever, or the things about ourselves that are most like we feel are not good enough, or so that poem is to transform our mind in that moment and set our intention for the day.
Shifted our consciousness.
Right.
Yeah, it's something in I don't know why it is. It's like, I think it's low blood sugar. We've been fasting the whole night, and then you wake up. Because quite often when we wake up, we feel a little bit like I need something, some calories, or something. We feel like there's low blood sugar. But oftentimes an imbalance in our physiology leads to thinking, and then we just think about these horrible things, So a lot of the poems are like that. They try to transform kind of mundane, automatic situations, like turning on the water tap, or putting food on our plate, into a sacred moment. Like we have a poem when we pick up our bowl. We say, "This is the bowl of the Tathagata." It means the Buddha. I know many people don't have food to eat today. I feel so grateful that I have food to put on my plate today.
I like your explanation. Thank you.
Yeah. So globally, but also in the West, we did away with a lot of memorization and education, but there's a lot of benefit to actually. It's interesting, by memorizing the poem and reciting it, you actually break out of your habit of
Right.
acting like a zombie, kind of going through
Right.
being simple.
Right.
Because you have to stop and remember the poem, so it makes you look with fresh eyes
Right.
on that situation. And because it's a poem, it's very human. I mean, poetry
Right.
is one of the most human things that,
Right.
it brings us back to our shared humanity. And so
Right.
if we're not careful in our way of working with computers and machines, like cars and things in our daily life, we become like a machine. You know, I mean, we spend all our time looking at computers, and
Right.
what we look at is what we become, right?
Oh, that's
Looking at a
that's
computer, then
wonderful.
we become a computer. So
Right.
that's why I think reciting poetry has been a way. I mean, Thai is a poet, a great poet as well, in
Yeah.
Vietnamese language, and the poetry is key for restoring our collective humanity,
Right.
so that we become free from this kind of automaton, robotic way of going about our daily lives. So look at those. I mean, both of you, but also our audience at home. I mean, look at. We all have things in in our daily life that we do automatically, like brushing our teeth.
Right.
You know, or so we have poems for all those activities that have us stop and really be mindful of brushing our teeth. So, or one other way is you brush your teeth with your left hand
Yeah.
instead of if
Yeah.
you're right-handed, right?
Yeah.
So it makes you stop, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Right.
this feels very awkward. I'm brushing. Sorry, I'm doing it with my right. I'm left-handed, so I usually brush
Oh.
my left hand. But if I do it, sometimes I do it with my right hand, and then I
Right.
have to.
Right. Be
I'm
very
more
mindful.
aware of
Uh-huh.
brushing my teeth because I have to.
Right.
It's kind of awkward. I'm not used to moving my arm like that.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So
Very
these
good.
kind of so the poems that changing up your habitual patterns so that you bring mindfulness to that moment is the spirit of these poems.
And I really like that you say that when we look at it, we become it. I think this is very insightful. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is very important, I think.
Yes, it
these
is.
days. Yeah.
And we have a kung fu sheet. So when we're novices, especially and sometimes I do it. I mean, I teach this to the young brothers. It's a sheet that has all of your daily activities, like waking up in the morning, walking to the sink, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, eating your breakfast, sitting meditation in the morning. Every activity is there, and then you have the days like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then at the end of the day, you sit and you reflect on each of those activities, and you actually rate. You say, okay, my mindfulness was maybe 7 for sitting meditation because I got distracted. I was thinking about things. Maybe, but when I woke up in the morning, it was a 9 because I recited the poem. Waking up this morning, as I smile, I touched joy in myself. So I feel waking up, I got a 9.
Very good.
So out of 10, you might put a number, or some people prefer like smiley faces or not smiley.
Right.
It doesn't have to be numbers. You can come up with your own thing, but the point is to sit down at the end of the day before you go to bed and really reflect on the whole day, so that you can start to see those places in your daily life that are you're operating on auto mode. You're not really present, and bring mindfulness. Try to the next day. You try to focus more mindfulness to that area.
So you provide some personal reflection checklist.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, and you can. I have this one Google Doc I share with people. They can print it out, but you can make it yourself. Some people like to draw the sheet themselves. Yeah.
Great.
That's wonderful. So, almost 10, 15 years ago, myself and our BTN crew, we did visit Plum Village, and we joined the 7-day retreat there. And one of the experiences that we had was, stopping with the sound of the bell, which was very, very new concept at the time for us personally too. And right after we ended the guided meditation, you mentioned about the bell. Can you tell us about the essence of the stopping with the bell and the bell at Plum Village?
Yeah, I'm regretting I didn't bring my bell in here.
It's okay.
Okay.
So we use the handbell. I think you have in Korea as
Right.
well.
Yeah, we have it.
The bell I have happened to be made in Japan, but we have a bell that we invite throughout the day. And so there are many actually kinds of bells. We have ones that are for activities that are outside, and it comes from the Zen tradition of inviting. Sometimes there's a wooden board, and you hit the board to let everybody know that an activity is happening. But in the Plum Village tradition, when we hear the sound of the bell, we stop whatever we're doing and come back to our breathing. So we have this, this reminder to be truly present with our body. And so if we're having a conversation or we're rushing to get somewhere, then the bell, because everybody's doing it in the monastery, there's a collective support, you could say, to stop rushing, to stop getting, lost in meaningless conversation, and come back to your body, come back to your breathing. And so that is the practice of the bell. And I can say I've been doing it for more than 20 years, every day. It's very powerful, and you can extend it to other things like red lights. So if you're driving a car and you see a red light, usually you get frustrated because you think, I just want to go, and now the red light is stopping me. I cannot go. So Tai invites us to see the red light as a kind of bell of mindfulness. So instead, seeing it as a friend that's inviting you to breathe, to come back to your body, have this chance to meditate right there in your car during the red light. And we talk about other things being bells of mindfulness. Like when we have a strong emotion like anger coming up inside, we say it's like a bell of mindfulness. We don't treat our anger as something bad that we want to get rid of, but we see that it's something that's telling us something about our body and mind. Like we have some expectation, and then that expectation is not met, and we become very angry. And so that anger is letting us know, oh, I have a little bit of attachment to the outcome of this situation, and so that anger is reminding me to take care of my emotions better and not get so attached to this thing or that thing. And so it's not only the bell itself as a physical object and that makes the sound, but it's also how it trains us to stop, come back to the present moment, look deeply in our body and mind, and then bring peace, calm, and joy back to that moment, and come out of the world of forgetfulness, of distraction.
I think this is related to the gatha that is called like I have arrived, I'm at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I have arrived, I am home in the here and the now. I am solid and free. In the ultimate, I dwell. Yeah. So the bell is inviting us to arrive back home in our own body.
Yeah.
So, of course, Tai was a refugee. I mean, Tai left Vietnam to speak about the war in the 60s, and then was made into a stateless person. Basically, the Saigon government told many countries around the world that not to recognize Tai's passport. Tai had a lot of trouble moving around and could not go back to his own home country. And most of us have never had that experience of leaving our country and then feeling like anytime I can travel around the world, I know I can come back and see my family, and the sense of coming home to something. But Tai at that moment could not come home to his own country and to his own students and his own sangha. And for many years, for 39 years, Tai could not. So Tai said he was like a bee who lost the hive of the sangha, and so Tai had to create a home in France, and that became Plum Village. So he learned through his mindful breathing and his mindful steps to arrive at home wherever he was on this planet Earth.
Oh yeah.
So the practice of the bell is helping us to come out of our thinking about that happiness is somewhere else.
Yeah.
And if I'm coming to Korea this fall, and if I think, oh, I can't wait to come to Korea. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so exciting. Then I probably won't enjoy being in Korea when I'm.
Right.
So I learned that, like, you know, not just to enjoy the present moment fully. That's what it means to arrive at home in the here and the now. It means to really enjoy this moment, because we don't learn to enjoy this moment. How will we ever enjoy those moments in the future that we have, that we're kind of pining after or longing after? So it's to train our mind to come out of that kind of thinking of that happiness is in a future place, and arrive at home, which is, you know, for not all of us, but for a lot of us, home is a happy place. It's a safe place, a place that we feel it belongs to us on this great planet with billions of people. Right? Our home is, but the teaching is that our mindful step right here and right now on the planet Earth, that is home. And if we train like that, and we do train like that every day, then we feel at home everywhere, and we don't feel this longing to, like in Thai's case, to go back to Vietnam. That Thai's happy in France. Thai can make France his home, right where he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very important. Thank you.
Important.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very different.
So it's applied Buddhism. I mean, it's not different from things. It's really, I mean, the Buddha learned to be at home in the world. So the title of our retreat in the book about Thai's life is based on that teaching of learning to be at home in the world wherever we are.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So for our final question, we have a common question that we ask all of our teachers. Can you please briefly share with us what we can do in our daily lives to lead a happy and healthy life?
So find moments to come back to your breathing and establish yourself in the present moment.
Right.
And stop running after, you know, fame, wealth, power, all these things. I mean, everything, you give it a different name and it always has some noble reason that you need to do that job or that work. But ultimately, we are human beings and we have this one precious life.
Yes.
And live it beautifully, and breathing, stopping, looking deeply in the present moment is a beautiful way to train ourselves to see the beauty of this moment, because we're all impermanent, you know. We are, you know, leave this body behind, all of us, and so please enjoy this present moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wisdom and compassionate mind and the insights that you have shared today.
Right. Thank you for
I
your
deeply
teachings.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you
So
very
lovely.
much.
Both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Through meditation, we become aware that we are not alone and remember that we are all interconnected. We also learn how to live harmoniously with others and to be grateful in every moment.
Knowing something intellectually and practicing it physically are entirely different dimensions. With an open mind, please try to practice the mindfulness you've learned today. You will feel an increase in happiness and joy in your life.
Here at Go Inside Global, we explore various meditation centers across the world. Today was Deer Park Monastery in Escondido, California. Thank you for joining us today. See you again next time.
Thank you very much.